So this is going to sound extremely arrogant when I say it, but please know that there is not an arrogant bone in my body. But I'm about to say this. Do you know who I am? Like, do you know who walked in this room with me? I need all of us, all of my Christian leaders to understand that I don't care what room you walk into, you do not walk in that room alone. You walk into that room fully equipped with the power of the Holy Spirit with you. God is on your side, and you are everything that He has called you to be. And so I just remind myself who sent me. I can be fully me, and I can still be fully submitted to God. And it's not arrogance. I just know my assignment. I wrote a whole post about this one time where there is a pressure, and I can only speak to this from a woman and more specifically a Black woman's perspective. And this is not a political statement at all, but just from social norms and what has been statistically true. Generally speaking, Black women have it harder, especially in corporate spaces. You can't appear to be too smart because then you are threatening. And people even subconsciously sometimes try to humble you, right? So you also have to walk a very tight rope of not being seen as inadequate or unqualified, because then you're just reduced to a DEI hire. And so what I found in a lot of my corporate career is that I had to kind of play this very tricky balance between, like, I belong here because I know what I'm talking about, but also I'm not that smart. What do you think? Well, what would you recommend? And so you feel like you have to underplay who you are. You have to underplay the power that you truly possess. You can't fully walk in as who you are because somebody will misread it for what it is. But I don't know when that trigger clicked for me, but in the latter years of my career, I realized that I could not play small for anybody. Like, I literally could not play small because it didn't make anybody else shine more bright. As a matter of fact, when I played small and when I dimmed my light, then it dimmed the whole light in the whole room. And I don't say that arrogantly, and I don't say it because it's like, oh, my light is just so bright. Well, it is, but it isn't just about my light. When all of us are in the room and all of our lights are shining, the light is just that much brighter. But when I show up in the room and my light is dimly lit, somebody else has their own insecurities and their light is dimly lit, then the room is not as vibrant as it should be. And so I just realized that if I'm in the room and God gave me a voice, He gave me permission to be here, I'm going to use it every ounce of my voice, every ounce of my power, every ounce of my brilliance with grace and with confidence, because I can. It's not about diminishing somebody else. It's just about you being obedient to God. Like, God has a say in every area of my life. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. If I'm going to the school board meeting, God has a say in what I say, in how I vote. When I'm going to the city elections, when I'm voting in the federal elections, when I'm going to work, when I show up at the community center, when I go visit the sick and shut in, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. God has a say in how I show up. And so I'm being obedient to the voice of God in how I show up in every single one of these spaces. And when I honor His voice, when I honor what He's put in me, inevitably I'm honoring Him. And I don't shrink. I can't shrink. If I say that I am an ambassador or I'm a true representation of Christ, if I shrink, then I diminish Him. So I have to show up in all of my fullness to properly put Him where He belongs in this room. If I call myself a child of God, if I say I am called to this, if I say I'm on assignment, if I say this is my purpose, and I show up any less than great, any less than bright, then who is it that I'm serving? Like, I call Him into question, His power, His brilliance, His creativity, and His ability to be everything. So I can't. So the only way that I can take up space in a holy way is to show up fully and authentically who I am in him, to give him space to do whatever, say whatever, be whatever he wants to be through me. God is a spirit, and he needs a body to do whatever he's going to do in the earth. I'm that body. You are that body. So stop showing up small. Stop shrinking. Stop diminishing yourself and your role in wherever you are, in whatever space you occupy. Because if God is in you, you are more than enough. You are greater than. Like, you have the ability to be whatever you need to be to make the moment what it's supposed to be. So take up space. And it's holy because God is in you. And he said you could. As boldly and as confidently as I speak, and even as confidently as I show up in rooms now, it's been a process, but I still have to battle that demon of imposter syndrome. I don't care how many credentials I have behind my name. I don't care how much experience, how many years I've done what I've done. I don't care how many successes I've had. Imposter syndrome is absolutely real. And it can be a paralytic if you let it be. But if you're battling imposter syndrome, I can only tell you how I deal with it. You have to remind yourself that you cannot, hear me well, hear me very well, you cannot be an imposter in a room that God opened the door to. You may feel unqualified, right? But God uses people, he uses the foolish things, he says in his word, to confound the wise. So no, it may not make sense that you were the one chosen. You may not have been the most qualified candidate on paper. You may not have had the most credentials. You may not have had the years of service or the tenure that somebody else had. But if God opened that door for you, own it. Walk in that room like you were sent, because you were. God uses those who are yielded to him, not just the people that have experience. There's a lot of people that are experienced and arrogant. A lot of people experienced and will fail. Utterly fail. There are a lot of people with a whole lot of credentials, and they are all about foolishness. But God will take the one person that has no experience, no degrees, no leadership experience, call them to the highest level of leadership because their heart is in the right place. He will put his spirit in you, and you will be the best thing that ever happened to that organization. God calls us to some great things, and we know that apart from ourselves, I don't deserve to be here. Do you know what I did? You remember that show, that movie, I Know What You Did Last Summer? It's look, if y'all know these skeletons in that closet, y'all be like, girl, Especially when we start talking about leading in church, preaching and teaching the gospel. That was one of the things that delayed my call, because when I finally rationalized in my mind, you know what? You tired of running, right? Just stop running because you're tired and you're going to have to accept it anyway. So just go ahead and do it. The thing that held me up in my call was worried about people and what they would say, the people who knew who I was before I got to this point of surrender. And so in my head, I had already created this scenario or these instances where people would see me preaching and be like, girl, stop. Right, Sean, preaching. And it was literally a narrative that was built because I knew the things that I had done. I knew that I was unqualified. I knew that I didn't deserve it. But then the thing that brought me to a place of humility and acceptance of the call is that even if I had been absolute perfection in my own eyes, I still didn't deserve it. Because there is nothing that I can do in and of myself that would merit the call or even the blessings of God on my life. So just accept that you don't deserve it, but somehow God sees something in you to say, hey, I still want to use you. So get over imposter syndrome. Get over it. I'm preaching to myself. Get over it, because he has called and commissioned you. He is the creator of all things. He's the sustainer of all things. And if he told you that you could do it, go do it. Just be it. You literally, I'll say it again, cannot be an imposter in any room that God ordained you to walk in. Thank you so much for tuning into my video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. As a matter of fact, go ahead and sound off in the comments and let me know what is one thing that you're going to do this week that will make your light shine just a bit brighter. Don't be out here shrinking. Show up.